Hello everyone, my name is Miss South from Barkerville Elementary. Here in Monroe City Schools, I teach 6th grade ELA. I'm here with my friend Mr. Rock. We're going to tell you some things about us, where we come from, and everything that you probably would possibly want to know about us. Mr. Rock, introduce yourself. Are you going to say anything to anybody? Well, guess what? Rocks can't talk. But what you can find is where they've been, how long they've been here, and where they come from by breaking down the rock. Well, we're going to talk about if stones could speak. And this is a story about Stonehenge. And Stonehenge is about some large rocks that we don't know how they got there, why they got there, and what their purpose are. But once we dig into this story, we will discover the reason why if stones could speak. We do that by studying Archaeology 101. In Archaeology 101, it tells you all the different things that you can find out how to find the history of different items that we cannot just see a date on. I'm going to read you the introduction of Archaeology 101, and we're going to go dive into it. It says, Introduction. Archaeology is the study of past cultures through materials, remains left by people behind. These can range from small artifacts such as arrowheads to large buildings such as pyramids. Anything that people created or modified is part of the archaeological record. Archaeologists use the remains to understand and recreate all aspects of the past culture, from the daily lives of ordinary people to the grand conquests of emperors. Often these objects are buried and have to be carefully uncovered or excavated before they can be studied. In many cases, they are the only clues archaeologists have to help them reconstruct the lives of ancient people. These subjects are like pieces of a giant jigsaw that our archaeologists must solve. The students are going to read the entire paper. It is a total of 4 pages. I just read you the introduction to get you an understanding of what archaeology is and how we're going to use it to dive into this book. Here's the second pages and your resources. Always pay attention to your resources so you can dive further into your studies. What is archaeology? Archaeology is the study of past cultures through the physical remains people left behind. If you notice in your picture, you see a brush, you see a scaffold fork, where they dig in the ground to find different artifacts so they can discuss what is in this ground and where did it come from. Archaeologists use these remains to understand and recreate aspects of past culture, for the daily lives of ordinary people to grand conquests of emperors. Archaeologists are the people who go out and find these things. They find these things in order to make a story. They make the story up so we can understand what was going on and why it was going on. What is an archaeologist? The word, first of all, I want you all to know that the word archaeologist can be spelled 2 different ways. So if you see it spelled without the A, it is okay. They both mean the same thing. So where did this word derive from? It is a Greek word. It is a Greek word that's root is archaeo for ancient and primitive, and Greek word, a person who speaks in certain manner, someone who deals with certain topics or subject. That is the ologist. So we have archaeologist. Let's look at this picture. Every time you see a picture, you first you ask your questions. Who is this? What are they doing? And why are they doing it? In this picture, which is located on page 30 of In Stones Could Speak, if you look very closely, that's a man with an instrument. What is he doing? Why is he looking through that instrument? He has his glasses off in order to take a closer look through the lens. But what do we see in the background? We see rocks, and if you notice that it's kind of an overcast sky. It seems to be a large rocks and stones around him. So are he looking past the stones or are he looking at the stones? These are the questions archaeologists go through each time they survey an item. And if you notice, the sky is cloudy. So will he be able to see clear? We don't know. Or do he need the cloudy sky to go through? On page 36 of It Stones Could Speak, if you notice, the man is in the center of a large rocky area. Why is he there? What is that impression in the ground? How did that impression get there? Well, we notice that he is kneeling, seems to be looking closer at this large circular indentions in the ground. Again, we ask the question, where did it come from? Why did it get there? What is this other circle? Why is his attention more on that circle? And then we notice that he has to be a worker because look at what he has on. He has on his work boots. There are many circular formations located around here. Not just the one that he's working with, but we see holes that's other places. We have to keep asking the question, oh, who and what and why? Because we need to know why he's out there and why he's looking at these things. And you should see that there's a grassy border located around the top of the rock or the stone. So why? Why did it come from? Why is the grass only growing there? Why is the grass not growing on the other parts of the rock? Here on page 40 of It Stones Could Speak, we notice that the woman is kneeling and she's looking off. Why is the woman kneeling in the stone bed? Why are there holes in the stone bed? Is this all of it or is this just part of it? Notice that there are two straight trenches that seem to be forming a corner of a rectangular square right here. So was there a square to complete this? Or why was these trenches there? What was the trenches used for? It says that you need to notice the circle holes around the rock bed. Is the rope stretched across a portion of the rock bed, or is that just to keep the people out? It says the woman has a bucket full of soil next to her. So what is she going to do with that soil? Most likely there are artifacts in that soil that she's going to research to try to figure out who they belong to and why they were put there. And there's tools scattered around everywhere. So is she going from one section to one section, or is the rope being used to ward off a section that she's the only person working on? Here's page 46 from It Stones Could Speak. It said, you see a man with a clipboard. You notice the detail of the sketches and notes on the clipboard. If you can look very closely, he has sketches where he has been working on the clipboard. And it says the man is holding a pen. So what is he writing? And why is he writing it? He said he's standing in a rectangular hole, a ditch. So is the ditch put there by the people that's surveying, or was the ditch already there? That's what we have to try to figure out. The man is using a measuring tape to measure the inside of the ditch. So we can assume that it might have been already there. But when we get deeper in the story, we'll figure that out. He says he has another tape that's measuring across the one side of the ditch. And the grass hills in the background of the image. So is this area a part of a bigger area? And what is this area that's behind and missing? It says, do you see the group of people that's in the back? They also have a bucket and they have instruments. We can't see the detail of the instruments they have, but seems like he's working on this section. And he has one tape measure going across and one tape measure going back. And here on page 53 of In Stones Could Speak, Unlocking the Secret of Stonehenge. It says, you notice the group of people wearing reflective vests. Usually when people wear reflective vests, they want you to know that they are workers and that you need to be cautious of them. And it says, look at all the tools that's around them. He has a shovel that he's digging with. We see another instrument. We see a survey tool. We see a lot of boxes. It says, the way the grass and the earth has been sectioned off into sections. You notice that they took just the top part of the grass. They didn't dig just big holes, but they took the top part of the grass and they removed it out of the way so that they can use it. It says they have raised the beds around the grass and has been sectioned off to sections, and the ditches are dug around. It says, notice the Stonehenge are in the background. Wow. So therefore, they're digging this grass located near the Stonehenge stones. So therefore, they're trying to figure out what other artifacts they can find so they can discover what's the reason why they're there. And it said, if you notice, the man is using a shovel to section off the grass. You could have easily used a backhoe or any other digging tool, but he's using a shovel and he's being very careful with digging the ground. So in this story, we're going to explore and we're going to use Archaeology 101 to discover what is it and why did the stones get there. We understand that some of the stones came from over 150 miles away. Why did they bring the stones there? What was their purpose of using the stones? That's what we're going to do. And we're going to become our own small archaeologists. So therefore we can discover. So I want you to go home and I want you to read up on why you think Stonehenge was created and why you think that we should figure it out. Or should we just let it go? Thank you.